Hitchhiking. Some Australian states discourage it. In many countries it's banned by law. But thousands of young Australians have discovered New Zealand, where they take to the road with a freedom unmatched by just about anywhere else in the world. Weekend magazine reporter John Cribben has been on the road with some of the Australian nomads.
The main highway outside Christchurch, and it's Saturday morning. 3 days ago, Karen Winter and Leanne Bath flew in from Melbourne on a $70 student air ticket. Karen and Leanne are 18 and have just finished secondary school. This is their first time outside Australia. Their daily budget is around $2 a day. Travel costs them almost nothing. Most of the hitchhikers on these roads are Australians who've discovered that in New Zealand, hitching is easier, safer and better tolerated than just about anywhere else in the world. The great triumph is to achieve the long haul. The girls have set themselves a target of between 100 and 150 miles a day on a tour of the Southern Alps. First day's journey is assured already. Most hitchhikers in the South Island sooner or later arrive in Queenstown. The Youth Hostel offers the cheapest alternative to a tent by the roadside. The hostel doors don't open till 5. The demand is so great that latecomers have to be turned away. In New Zealand, the majority of hostelers are Australian, outnumbering all other nationalities by 2 to 1. Most have experienced the rigours of the road. You look cold. What's happened to you?
I've just come from Christchurch.
And why are you cold?
I'm sitting in the back of a ute all the way.
Well, that's almost 300 miles you've been sitting in the back of a ute.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it was quite good though. It was okay. We had blankets and things on us.
What you eat depends on what you have to spend. Sometimes the evening meal comes from a can, occasionally there's something better. The cooking is generally ingenious, often because it has to be. Sometimes the food budget can be as low as $1 a day. Others have no budget problems at all and travel rough for the fun of it. For many Australians, hitchhiking in New Zealand is something of a training ground for richer adventures in Europe and elsewhere overseas. Queenstown's restaurants and hotels are largely staffed by Australians. They are provided with board and lodging and a modest wage. Australians have a reputation for being prepared to try anything, with varying success. Queenstown has a reputation for being a swinging place for the young, probably because so many young people make their base there. They stay at these jobs for a few weeks or a few months. The tourist boom in recent years has been such that there's almost always jobs to be filled. On the lakeside in the early morning, the best sort of freedom, and it costs nothing. Gary Morfitt used to work as a tiler in New South Wales. He looked for work in Queenstown and got a job as a singer, his first. At night he sleeps out as he's done before while on the road. He's been in New Zealand for 2 months and he says he'll stay. The skill is to get by with very little, travel at no cost, and according to the philosophy of the road, enjoy life to the full. How long do you think you'll keep on doing this?
Well, I find indefinitely, I think, because my ticket's expired. I could have went back to Australia 2 days ago, but we just left it go. It just weren't worth going back to.
Why not? What's wrong with Australia?
Because too many people talk about politics and their jobs and their concerns and that. Well, you don't get any of that when you're on the road.
For some, life on the road is a life of innocent adventure. But the official view is not always in accord with that.
Hitchhikers, in my view, and this is a departmental view as well, are bad news. They cause a lot of problems on the roads, both from motorists and also from the physical part of the roadway. We have had in my district motor accidents caused by hitchhikers. In Queenstown alone, for instance, in January, I travelled from here, from the police station, a matter of 10 miles out towards the Arrow Junction, and counted 136 parties of hitchhikers on State Highway 6.
Most of these would have been Australians.
I think so, yes. I'm not saying they're all Australians. There are New Zealanders included, and Canadians and Americans. But mainly I would say there are Australians, yes.
One of the greatest excitements of hitchhiking lies in the fact that you never quite know what's going to happen next. But it's this very virtue that can also prove to be one of its greatest disadvantages. This is the Frankton turnoff outside Queenstown. It's probably one of New Zealand's best-known hitchhiking spots. Each year at the peak of the season, the roadsides along here are thick with young people looking for motorists who will take them on journeys to just about anywhere. Sometimes they find a quick lift and they're lucky, but frequently they're not. And it's the back of this signpost here that has become something of a little memorial to those who take to the road and then have to wait and wait and wait.